Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final day of Expo 2020 fifth International Participant Meeting. My name is Omar Shahade. I have the honor and privilege to work with each of you on a daily basis, and I'm happy to see so many of you have joined us today. This is indeed a unique experience to meet once again virtually following our regular Way Forward sessions. We hope that we'll be able to meet again physically in the near future. Since, as you may know, Dubai has resumed travel activities. I hope you have found the last few days informative and we look forward to answering your questions. So please do continue to share these with us. Our speaker today is Zina Haidar, Director from the One Stop Shop. Zina will provide an overview of the food and beverage operational verification process and requirement, including alcohol processes. Some of you have been eagerly waiting for this. Before we start, I would like to take this opportunity to remind you of the key Expo 2020 timelines. By December 2020, we expect that to finish major construction work on site for the self-built participants. For our rented participants, by December 2020, your final designs have to be approved by Expo and authorities. 1st September 2021, your pavilion is dust-free and ready to receive visitors. Before I hand over to Zina, I would like to remind you of a few housekeeping items. Today's session will be recorded and will be accessible on the portal, and some of you might be seeing that it's already streamed on YouTube Expo 2020 channel. The session will run in English, however, translation in Arabic, French, and Spanish is available via the different channels. To switch the channels to a different language, please click the interpretation button marked as a globe icon on the bottom of your screen. For questions, kindly use the Q&A tab on the bottom of your screen. Please state your full name, country you represent, followed by your question. This will help to address all questions accordingly within the allocated time. If we do not get to answer your questions during the session, due to time limitation, we'll ensure to follow up afterwards with the response. Additionally, we will be publishing an FAQ on the portal. So now, without further delay, please, Zina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ahmad. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, welcome to the Food and Beverage Operational Verification session. We hope you found the information packs we have shared with you both helpful and informative. Thank you for sharing your questions. We look forward to answering these today. Expo 2020 promises to be a global platform offering visitors an unforgettable culinary experience. In preparation for this, for those of you planning to undertake food and beverage operations that include any use of kitchen facilities, you will need to obtain an operational verification. This means an approved final food and beverage package, an approved commercial proposal, the appointment of a PIC or person in charge, and obtaining an operational verification certificate. So as a first step, please submit your food and beverage package for approval. And after this, you can submit your commercial proposal. A reminder that your commercial proposal needs to be approved by the latest by May 2021. Currently, we've received 60% of food and beverage final designs and only one commercial proposal. So please do share these with us. The next step is for you to nominate one of your existing food and beverage team members to undertake the role of Food Safety PIC, which is a mandatory requirement by Dubai Municipality. Your PIC will be the first point of contact for any food-related safety matters and will be responsible for managing all food safety checks, staff food and alcohol safety training, and inspection reports. As a final step, upon completion of your kitchen fit-out and equipment installation, you will need to raise an operational verification request on the Expo portal. Our team will then facilitate with Dubai Municipality to conduct the relevant inspections and issue an operational verification permit, which is free of cost to you. Now, with regards to alcohol, Maritime and Mercantile International, MMI, and African Eastern are Dubai's only licensed providers for alcoholic beverage supply and services. We are happy to announce that MMI has been designated as Expo 2020 Dubai's exclusive provider of alcoholic beverage supply and services. This means any purchase, clearance, storage, and transportation of any alcoholic beverages to be served at the Expo site by you must be through MMI. Through our collaboration with MMI, you are able to access both MMI and African Eastern alcoholic beverages through a single consolidated rate card. And also, you can place online orders for alcoholic beverages directly on the MMI system through the Expo portal. In the information pack, as well as the Food and Beverage Instructional Handbook, we have provided details on the various tariffs applicable on the purchase or import of alcohol which is intended for commercial use, as well as the allowances on tariffs made for alcohol intended for non-commercial use, meaning alcohol that will be offered to your guests free of charge, as well as alcohol that would be offered for sampling and gifting. However, please do remember to identify this in your shipment transportation plan. If you are planning to gift alcohol, a reminder that you must raise a request for gifting labels to the one-stop shop via the Expo portal. All alcoholic bottles that will be gifted must be offered in sealed packages with the label provided by the one-stop shop affixed to each bottle. For all outlets serving alcohol for commercial purposes, we would like to remind you that an additional Dubai Municipality fee of 7% will be paid by the end customer and will be added to the total bill for all food and beverage purchases, whether alcohol is purchased or not. This fee will be configured within the retail in a box system and will be automatically calculated as well as displayed at the bottom of each final customer bill. If you are planning to serve alcohol with your food and beverage, there will be one additional step, and that is the inspection of your alcohol service and storage areas by Dubai Police, and then once again, the issuance of an alcohol permit at no cost to you. All the information that we have shared today and before this session can be found in the Commercial and Food and Beverage Guide, as well as the recently published Food and Beverage Instructional Handbook. Thank you for your attention, and now let's move on to answering your questions.
Thank you, Zina. We have a couple of questions that came through. I will start with the first one. Do we have any further information regarding Network International and its applicable rates? Adnan, do you want to take this question?
Yes, thank you, Omar. So we are finalizing our agreement with Network International. We have managed to negotiate attractive rates for the participants at site. We'll be able to provide this information in the coming months. So by November, we'll have the rates available in addition to the form or the template of the contract that will be signed between you and Network International for utilization of their services. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. There's a question came in about whether the MMI rate card is live on the portal. I will answer that. The rate card is not yet available on the portal. It will be uploaded and being active by November of this year. So by November, you'll be able to access it on the portal. We will make sure to send you a notification along with all the information required. There's a couple of questions. I think I want to hand over to Zina and let me read them for you. What are the training that the F&B staff should be attending? How this will be conducted? In addition to when do we obtain the operational verification certificate? Zina?
Thank you, Ahmad. Yes, so with regards to training, all food and beverage handlers must complete the mandatory Dubai Municipality food safety training. This training will be made available on the Food Watch system, which you can access through the Expo portal. All training courses will be provided online, and this is at no cost to you. This also includes the specialized training for your PIC, as well as assessments that will follow on the online system as well. And we are working very closely with Dubai Municipality to have all this training ready for you for early 2021. We look forward to sharing further details towards the end of the year. Moving on to the operational verification question. So we are looking to have operational verification. As Ahmad said, our pavilions are dust-free by early September, and this is when we expect everyone to have completed their operational verification. Thank you, and I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Zina. There is a question. Is there a deadline to pay the royalties to Expo after the invoice has been issued? Adnan, I know you like these fun questions.
Thank you, Omar. Yes, the deadline is basically 7 days after the invoice is issued. There are two methodologies of payments. You can give us an authorization for direct debit, which basically allows us to debit that account directly from your bank account. Based on that authorization, this is a regular banking procedure that takes place. If you do not wish to go through that route to avoid any delays in payments or missing deadlines, uh, you can basically have standing instructions or banking transfers directly to us to make sure that you pay your invoice on time. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We have a question from Rafael from Brazil. Could you please explain further the additional 7% fee on alcohol? Adnan, do you want to elaborate on this?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Omar. This is Dubai Municipality fee that is applicable on restaurants that are serving alcohol. This is a fee that is paid by the guest or of the restaurant. The 7% will be incorporated in your retail in a box system, and it will be calculated and shown in the invoice, and the amount will be collected by you and then paid directly to the Dubai municipality. We'll be providing the process of the payment of that 7% to the municipality in a couple of months to make sure that you have clarity on how this is taking place. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We have received a question from Sophie from France. Good afternoon. Are there any quotas regarding the number of bottles allowed for non-commercial alcoholic importation? Zina, do you want to answer that?
Sure. Thank you for the question, and thank you, France, for your question. So with regards to alcohol quota in general, we will work with you to understand your operations. So in this case, we will try to understand what is your commercial operations that you have planned in terms of the alcohol and how you plan to use it. And based on that, we will allocate you a quota that will help facilitate that. So we will work very closely with you to make sure that the quota that we provide is sufficient to support your operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We have a question just came in from Pilar. Is there any restriction on the opening hours? We could sell alcohol in the pavilion. Zina, do you want to answer that?
Thank you, Ahmad, and thank you, Peru, for your question. So with regards to selling alcohol, this is in relation to the opening hours of your food and beverage outlets. This is to be in line with the site operating hours, which is till 1 a.m. during the week and 2 a.m. during the weekend. We do ask you, however, to be mindful of allowing enough time, which is approximately 30 minutes for final call with regards to drink and final food and beverage orders. But your outlets and the service of alcohol can continue up until this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. I hope Zina's answer, Pilar, addressed your question. We have another question. How many point of sale machine I will be getting for my outlet? Zina?
Yes, thank you, Ahmad, for the question. So each participant will be allocated 2 point of sale units, including the hardware, the register, and everything. That is free of charge. Obviously, a lot of our participants have more than 2 outlets, and these will be provided at a rate card basis. You can find all the information on the Expo portal, and we do ask you to submit your hardware requirements for the point of sale hardware by the end of this year. Thank you, and I hope that addresses the question.
France, we had a follow-up. The question was for the non-commercial importation. So let me repeat it for you, Zina. We want to bring in alcohol for selling for non-commercial purposes. What is the process? Do you want to address that, and maybe you and later on Adnan?
So thank you, France, for the question. Yes, the point I was trying to get across is we have not set a quota. We would like to work with you. So by providing these details in your commercial proposal, we'll be able to understand what sort of what sort of quantity you are planning to bring in, and based on that we can work with you. But there is no set quota. We're here to help facilitate your operations, and based on that we will work with you to allocate the appropriate quota. I will pass it on to my colleague Adnan if you'd like to add anything further.
Thank you, Zina. So basically, similar to the size of your commercial activities and your operations, we look at your events and operations of your VIP areas and level of guests that you are expecting within those areas for the non-commercial activities. So we rely on you to have clarity on what and how many guests are you expecting to have, how many events are you expecting to conduct on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, the size of the venue. We have a couple of formulas put in place to calculate based on serving per bottle per guest, and accordingly we can calculate a rough estimate of that quota. However, if that quota is not sufficient and your operations are much higher, we can of course revise these numbers and make sure that the quota is not obstructing your commercial and non-commercial operations. Thank you.
Okay, we thank you, Adnan. And I think if I want to elaborate on this, the part of the reporting when we set up the initial quota based on the number of events you would like to undertake, I know you might not be able to think of all the events that you would like to undertake, but we want to try to set up with you a threshold that you feel that it is good for you as well. And these will be revised on a monthly basis to see if you require more. It's simply a reporting format that we need to agree upon. We use the standard procedure after consulting with many of you in terms how also you do them either in your embassies or your diplomatic mission. How do you calculate? We ask our catering companies to give us the number of glasses per person and how these can be done. So, for example, we looked at the how many people can be served by bottle. So all of these calculation, we're taking them into account to ensure that you have enough for your operation and to make sure that you entertain and also serve your VIP or your events during the expo period. There is a question that came in from Singapore. Will there be flexibility in changing the F&B on retail commercial proposal after expo has started? Zina, you want to answer that?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Singapore, for your question. So absolutely, we do understand things change, and we do understand you will have changes to your menu offering. So this is totally allowed. What we ask you to do is, however, to resubmit your menu through the commercial proposal once again for us to review and approve, and we can take it from there. But absolutely, you can change your menu offering and your commercial proposal even after the event is started. Thank you, and I hope that addresses the question, Singapore.
We had a question about kindly explain further what is halal food. I will try to take a first stab and then later on I will also pass it to Adnan. The halal is the Arabic word for permissible. Halal is a food that which adheres to the Islamic law, especially when it comes for the animal slaughtering and how they have to be healthy before we do that. I don't know if Adnan you want to add to it.
Sure. In addition to the slaughtering of animal in the appropriate Islamic manners, which is guided, there are many halal certification that is done globally, and sourcing of such food is easy. Another item of halal food is basically any food in the preparation process. If the food is contaminated with non-halal food, or if there's a use of alcohol in the cooking process, then that food is deemed non-halal. Of course, we have put the regulations in relation to preparation of food from the Dubai Municipality in case of preparation of non-halal food and cooking with alcohol or on these items. There are specific requirements in terms of designing the kitchen, separating the cooking counters, food preparation areas, utensil used, and the serving cutlery items related to that. I hope that gave a broad picture. We're happy to address any additional questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Adnan. And if you need any further elaboration, yes, indeed, we will be providing you with this. There is a question that came in. What should we consider as part of the price calculation for the retail items, VAT, service cost, municipality? Zina, you want to shed some light on the price composition?
Sure. Thank you, Singapore, for your question. So with regards to retail items, what you need to take into consideration, yes, there will be VAT and the royalty fee. There are no Dubai municipality fees that are applied to the retail items. That only applies to food and beverage, where we look at the different duties as well as the Dubai municipality fee. Thank you, and I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Zina. There is another question. For alcohol importation, do I have only to follow MMI from my country, or I can ship it with another provider to the UAE? Adnan, do you want to answer that?
Thank you, Omar. So MMI is our designated exclusive provider of alcohol to the site. You may import the alcohol through MMI based on a special import agreement, or you can import the alcohol through any other service provider, freight forwarder that will bring the alcohol to Dubai. Once the consignment or the shipment arrives to Dubai, the clearing, logistics, storage, transportation to site, and then to your pavilion should be done by MMI. So the arrival of the alcohol shipment could be done by anybody up to Dubai, but once it hits Dubai, it must be conducted by MMI. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We have a question from Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Given the cost of transportation of drinks, we plan to organize in September 2021 a single transport of alcoholic drink from abroad for the 6 month of the exhibition. We'll be able to store this volume of the bottle on our pavilion. I'll try to answer that. I hope that you will not ship by September, you ship earlier to allow yourself a bit of enough time in case there's a delay in the sea or in the port. We part of the self-built guide and also part of the food and beverage, the storage of alcohol within the pavilion. They have a certain specification. If you have the volume, you can store them. You can. However, as well, we agreed with MMI that these material can be stored in their warehouse. You will have access to the inventory every time you pull out from the stock to your pavilion, so you'll be able to monitor what's left for you. So it's your decision how you would like to manage, whether you want to store them in your pavilion or you want to use the facilities of MMI to store them and keep withdrawing from the stocks as you require moving forward. There's a question that came in from Brazil, Rafael, about MMI. If they, by any chance, do not carry a label beverage that we plan to sell, would they be able to bring this new item into their portfolio? Our F&B operator can deal directly with MMI, or does the participant country need to participate in the negotiations? Adnan, do you want to answer this question?
Sure, thank you, Omar. That's a good question. So basically, MMI has put together a consolidated rate card that is combining their stock and the African Eastern stock, the second and only licensed and authorized operators to sell alcohol in Dubai. Between them, they have a big stock. However, if that stock, if your specific item is not available in their stock, you can enter an agreement for special import for those items, and they will be able to source you with the items that you require. About carrying that stock carrying the stock moving forward, that's something that it's a commercial opportunity for MMI, and you can discuss that with them moving forward and giving opportunity for your alcohol manufacturers to make their alcohol available through MMI, not only for the Expo operations. The second item is in relation to your operator. Now, I need to clarify that our licensing process is for you as a pavilion, and you hold the license. If you wish for your operator and you wish to outsource your operation of F&B, that is allowed. However, the full accountability lies on you as a participant. They will operate under your license. They will operate whether it's the Expo license that we provide or specifically the alcohol license that allows you to serve alcohol in your pavilion. So if you want to outsource it completely to them, that's up to you. But they need to operate under your license. That's a condition that we have put for the operations of the Expo. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. There is a question came in. Will MMI charge for its services? Adnan, do you want to answer that?
Sure.
So if you're buying directly from the rate card, the cost of the alcohol items that you have purchased are inclusive of the delivery to your pavilion. So that is basically covering everything. If you are doing a special import and you're bringing goods from abroad, then associated costs with that will be applicable, and you can discuss that directly with MMI on one-to-one basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We have a question that came in from Maria in Portugal. Would kindly clarify if the additional 7% charged by Dubai Municipality regarding alcohol will be exclusively calculated over the alcohol in a specific invoice, or will that additional charge will be added to all invoices issued by all establishments that will serve alcohol? Zina, you would like to answer that question?
Sure. Thank you for that question. So regarding the Dubai Municipality fee, the 7%, this is a fee that's passed directly on to the end customer. It's applied at the outlet level. Now, what do I mean by that? So any outlet or restaurant that is serving alcohol for commercial purposes, so selling alcohol, any bills, even if alcohol is not purchased or not, the 7% will be applied at the end customer bill. So even where we have a customer that comes into the restaurant and purchases a meal but does not purchase alcohol, this 7% will still be applied directly to the customer. The participant is also responsible for, on a monthly basis, paying this fee to Dubai Municipality directly. So I hope that clarifies the question.
We have another question. If our pavilion would like to engage with a third party, can they directly pay the royalty to Expo? Adnan, would you like to answer this question?
Thank you, Omar. The invoice of royalties is issued to the participant directly, to the pavilion, and it is the responsibility of the participant to pay that invoice. In terms of outsourcing that activity to the participant, to the service provider, I would just like to highlight that we are basically connecting the retail on a box to your bank account. And this is the Pavilion bank account, which is also used for all your VAT reimbursement and all other commercial activities that you might be conducting. If you want to let your service provider operate that, our advice is that you create a sub-account that you designate for your commercial activities that your subcontractor will be managing, and then they can make the payments through that sub-account. However, again, I repeat, the invoice is issued to the participant, to the pavilion directly, and it's the responsibility of the participant to do that. We as Expo do not engage in any commercial activities between us and your subcontractors. We only maintain the relation between us and the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We have a question. Can you please explain how the food inspection will be carried during the event period? Zina, do you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you, Ahmad, for that question. So with regards to food inspections, as you're aware, Dubai Municipality are one of the key authorities as part of the one-stop shop. So we will work very closely with them to conduct regular inspections throughout the site. And this is to maintain a good standard of food safety across the site. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We are still waiting to receive more questions. There is a question here. If I will try as well to address it on the issue of the 7% for the municipality fee. Any pavilion that's serving, if you have an outlet that have two areas, one designated to serving alcohol and one was not designated to serving alcohol, you'll have, since you have an alcohol license and you're selling it, you will have to pay the 7%. There is no distinction between if somebody who took any alcoholic beverage or not. This is the 7% that's applied. If for clarity on it, in the food and beverage handbook that was dispatched, there is a clear description how this calculated. If everybody feel like it needs further elaboration, we'll be happy to explain it further, either today or moving forward. We have a question from Brazil, Luciano. I hope that I pronounced it well. When will retail in a box be available? That's the first question. When we will have a manual for its usage? And will there be a test platform for retail in a box? Zina, would you want to start with that? And maybe later on, I will take on the manual and the test platform.
Sure. So the retail in the box unit, we will be providing training to you, and there will be a manual as we roll out the units through the site to the different pavilions. Our team will be hands-on to make sure that you're fully equipped and informed on how to use the system. As you're aware, we're already collecting the expression of interest for the hardware on the portal, so please do submit your point of sale hardware requirements. We would like to close this off by the end of this year to ensure we can order the hardware in time and have it available to you. We're looking to start rolling out installation. February next year is what we have planned currently. Thank you, and I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Zina. And yes, we will be organizing a virtual part of the series. We're going to move forward. We're going to have a session, maybe a demo, to take you through the functionality of the system. Like Adnan did mention earlier today, we can pre-configure the system for certain elements. And actually, the system is so good that even if you are giving it out, your operation, to a third party, you as a pavilion, you can still generate a daily revenue sheet. So you would know exactly how much they sell. You would understand how much for your ease of accounting. And it can generate a multiple report format. In addition, for the assigning a certain payments or a certain percentage of payment to be daily debited or daily transaction to your bank account, which makes it a very smart system to reduce the burden of the calculation, but also to keep control. So even though you're giving it to a third party that you're absolutely trust, but you still have a level of maintaining of accounting and transparency on the system. We will wait for, I think there is one question coming up. Yes, we have one question. We don't know from whom. So it's very hard to predict the number of events that we'll be gonna hosting for the VIP in our VIP zone. So how do you expect us to put it part of the commercial plan? And will Expo give us a bit of processes where we can organize this in the last minute? Zina, do you want to answer that?
Yes, sure, Alma. Thank you for the question. So I assume, based on the question, that the participant is planning to host events within the VIP area, and I'm assuming that the consumption of alcohol or the service of alcohol is planned as well. So in this case, you are able to submit a request each time you want to organize an event, as we know these things can be planned in an ad hoc manner. We do request, however, that you submit the event alcohol permit request at least 15 days before the event. Details that we will look for you to submit as part of the request include the date and timing of the event, your expected number of attendees, the details of the event food provider. As you are aware, anytime alcohol is served, we do request that you provide food alongside the alcohol service as well. We also ask that you provide the event layout, details such as demarcation and security that will be set up for the event. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We have a question. If we don't have enough space in our pavilion to host an event where we have a VIP to serve food and catering, will there be available spaces on site that we can book to carry forward these events. Adnan, do you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you, Omar. Sure. We have several options available on the site. Within our parcel buildings, we have our partner, Amar, who is running a number of venues that contain VIP areas and hospitality areas that you can rent directly for exclusive events, and they will be able to provide catering services inclusive of alcohol if required. Additionally, we have the Dubai Exhibition Center, and that is also available for booking for functions and bigger events. The rooms and spaces there are configurable to different sizes based on your requirement. Details of the Dubai Exhibition Center is also available on the participant portal if you wish to explore and investigate that option. Moreover, we will have a hotel at site as well, and further details on the hotel operations will be provided at a later stage throughout the year. So these are the current options that I have on top of my mind, but we'll be able to serve your guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan, for this elaborative answer. Please, as a reminder, put forward your question in the Q&A panel, so we will be able to see them and we answer them. The whole purpose of this IPM is to really download as much as information as you require that can help you in your preparation. I think the food is a very interesting component for me personally, and I'm sure for everybody in this room, maybe because at the end of the day we're feeling hungry, but this is something that we enjoy, and we really look forward to the rich culinary experience that you're going to bring in, and I'm sure the visitors coming to the Expo will be looking forward to that. There is one question coming in from my good friend Doug. So there's a question on the merchandise. I'm gonna read it. Kiosks have been mentioned as point of sale in the self-built or only in the rented. So the clarification whether the kiosks are meant to be for the self-built or rented in the thematic. I think with the kiosks were, and I will leave Zina to speak about it because she was also working heavily on this project. It's what we call it the world market. Its purpose to bring a diversity to the expo by making a showcase venue for a unique product that you will only be able to see them when you come to the expo. We are trying to promote through this as well the fair trade, this very exquisite items that have been done by working families or NGOs. At least that will be also a global platform for them to showcase their product to the visitors coming to the site. Zina, you want to add on the kiosk? Then I'll go back to the number 2 and 3 from Doug.
Sure, thank you, Omar, although I think you've quite answered the question. So yes, as Omar elaborated, the World Market Kiosk, we're actually quite proud of this initiative. It's promoting ethical consumerism and ethical products. Unfortunately, it's only open to our thematic district participants. This decision is based on the limited commercial operations that they're allowed to conduct in their pavilion. So we've looked at the kiosks for a selected number of thematic district participants as an extension of their commercial operations. It's really an opportunity to support the working families and communities and artisans and small to medium businesses within their different countries. The kiosks will be located in the Oasis Park. They are about 13 meters squared in size and will be offering a variety of products. So I hope that answers the question in relation to the kiosks. Thank you.
So to follow up on this question, because he brought it down in 3 points, and will the merchandise be Expo 2020 or can be our own small products be included? Who will operate these kiosks? Zina, you want to elaborate on it?
Sure. So the kiosks will be operated by the participants themselves. So we have 60 kiosks and 60 thematic district participants will be selected, or have been selected, I should say, to operate these kiosks. The sort of products that you can expect to see are a very products that are produced on a small scale, and we're focusing a lot on handmade, artisan, ethical products that really showcase the culture and the working communities behind a lot of these participants.
Thank you, Zina. It's this project is so dear to our hearts in general to try to focus on this unique products that really add value and have an impact on the people who are really working on it. And this is the place with showcase. So I think I'm sure in Norway there's plenty of material as well that you can sell in your pavilion. And I think it should be our global responsibility, especially if we're speaking now in this very tough time, that it's our collective duty to help the SMEs, to help the small businesses where to bring in their product to the wider world, and Expo can be this amazing platform to go forward. There's a question came in from Helmut. Hi, Helmut. Visa and third party. If I have a service provider for F&B, can I apply for the visa for them for free as well? Adnan, you want to answer that?
Thank you, Omar. Short answer is yes, you can. Please make sure that you indicate them in your participant staff list when you submit that to us for visa and accreditation purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. There's a question that came in from our colleague from UK. Could you please clarify the connection of the point of sale devices to the participant bank account? That's the first part. If a third party is running our F&B operation, then the takings will be transferred to our bank account and will then have to be transferred to the third party operator. Adnan, would you please explain it?
Sure. Thank you, Omar. So I'll try to simplify this. If you're operating through a third party, and I will assume that you have a contractual agreement with them that they will operate on your behalf and they will collect the proceedings and then provide you with your profit share or whatever methodology of revenue sharing you have with them. And you would want them also to manage the royalty for you so that they pay us the royalty. As I explained before, our relationship, our contractual relationship is between us as Expo, the organizer, with you as a participant. When we set up the retail in a box, we set up the retail in a box against your bank account. If you don't want to operate that yourself and you want to give that operation to your F&B provider, you may create a sub-account within your main account that you will dedicate the usage of it and the management of it. And that's something that you can manage with your bank in terms of providing authorization of managing that sub-account to your food and beverage operator. We will connect to the sub-account rather than the main account so that the proceedings of your sales are going there. And that once the invoices are issued to you for royalties, if you wish to create a direct debit authorization from that sub-account, that will also be managed so that we receive the royalties in an automatic fashion. And then your third-party operator will be able to do the split of revenue shares between you and the operator as per your agreement signed with them. I hope that clarified the question in a simple way. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. There is a question, anonymous attendee. Will Expo 2020 provide any guideline regarding how to reorient restaurants' operations with reduced capacity and or social distancing measures? Absolutely. But we hope that we will not reach to the place where hopefully in October, we're still having to go through the social distancing. There's many things happening in the world and we're advising super fast. And I think in the last 2 days, we spoke about the importance of monitoring what's going on. But yes, for sure, we're looking also at the worst case scenario. We always work with the authority and the government of the UAE. So there is a planning, there is ideas been thought through and discussed. But also in the meantime, we encourage you that I know many countries and many businesses If we take the aviation industry, for example, or we take any industry, they are being very innovative in the approach. So also, if you have an experience that you can share with us on what's the best practice that, or any new innovation that can be applied, that's for sure we'll take it on board. With the months to come, we're gonna keep monitoring it. We're gonna be discussing with you, and then anything that will have to come up will need to be collective. But I'm so optimistic that in October we don't have to go to an area where we still have to sanitize our hand, put our mask, and hopefully things will be in much better format. I'm optimistic in nature, and that's, I think, the whole spirit in this organization is optimism. We are connecting minds to create the future, so let's create a better future. But also, we are realistic that we need to make sure that we protect you in this future, because safety is the number one concern, starting from people on site working from now all the way to the last visitor and the youngest visitors that we're going to receive. We have a question from Italy. Could you please confirm that on National Day, IPs can have the use of the number of food stalls for their show cooking and tasting? Zina, you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you, Italy, for your question. And I can assure you that your dedicated country manager, Nicola, has been following up with us on a daily basis regarding the rentable show kitchens. At this stage, we're still reviewing this offering to finalize the costing and the setup. And hopefully, once this is finalized, we'll be able to share details with you. But at this stage, unfortunately, I don't have any further details to share with you. However, I do promise once available, we will be able to share these details with you. Thank you.
We have a question that came in from Portugal. I would like some clarification regarding cooking with alcohol. If we go for it, may we use same utensils for alcohol and alcohol-free dishes? May we use same equipment like oven stove, thermo, thermomix for dishes with and without alcohol? Is it mandatory to have a non-alcoholic option of the same dish? Thank you. Um, I think it's a split question. We'll start with Zina, and maybe I don't know if Adnan you would like to follow up on it.
So thank you for the question. So I'll probably start with the last part of the question, which is, do you need to offer an non-alcoholic option for the same dish? And yes, you do. As per the Food and Beverage Guide, this is one of the clear requirements that we state, that you can have alcohol as part of your cooking or preparation for a dish, but you must also provide a non-alcoholic version for visitors. Regarding the utensils, we will have to have a segregation between cooking with the use of alcohol, because we need to have the segregation between halal and non-halal. Again, a lot of these details are provided to you in the Food and Beverage Guide. I'll pass it along to Adnan now if he'd like to add any further details.
Sure. Thank you, Zina. Basically, the regulations are set by Dubai Municipality, and we have that document available on the Expo portal. What I would state is that the regulations are more stringent in utilization of non-halal meat. That will definitely require separate kitchens and separate utensils and separate preparation areas. In relation to the cooking of alcohol, I would go back and investigate that myself, and we will push the answer back to you after the sessions, and we'll make it available as part of the questions and answers that we will post on the portal. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. There's a question from Helmut. Does the third party need their own customs code to import its material, or is it required that the import code for the external company is carried out via the participant? And I think here, if you are getting a third party to run the restaurants and they would like to import material to the country. Adnan, you want to answer that?
Sure. Thank you, Omar. So basically, it's up to you. If you wish for them to use your code, you can provide them that to use. If you want to have, and if it's strictly for commercial activities, they can also use their own code and clear the items themselves and deliver it to the site and conduct their operations. So there's no restriction here. It depends on how much you want to have separation and segregation of accounts. If they are importing on your code, please note that the items that will be imported will have to go through the monthly reconciliation process submission to Dubai Customs. Thank you.
We have a question from Italy. I would say it's a question and it's suggestion. Do you have the guidelines on the average pricing of food at Expo restaurants and food stall, which may be useful to benchmark for Pavilion restaurants? And I think I will start answering it, and then I will give it to Zina if she wants to add on it. Uh, we're urging you to please send to us your menus and your commercial proposal for the restaurants. The last thing, so at least when you have to indicate for us the retail price, so at least we can be able to collect everything and then started also doing a benchmark. We want to avoid incidents when in previous expos some people have increased their prices and created a kind of dissatisfaction by the visitors. Also, we encourage that your third party or your people who are going to be opening a restaurant to also check in the market, because it should be any pricing. It should be if it's not below the market, it should be equal to the market size outside the expo. But Zina, do you want to add more on the commercial proposal and the pricing?
Sure, thank you, Ahmad. So, in addition to what Ahmad is saying, please do submit your commercial proposals early enough, and we can provide lots of comments and feedback on the pricing of menu items. But further to that, in the food and beverage guide, we have stated that we will provide you with a pricing approach, which is what I believe the question is referring to. Now, given the current circumstances and the change a little bit in the market, we're working very closely with our commercial teams to understand what is the pricing approach. We're working on the document at the moment, and we hope to be releasing it in the near future. This document will give you an idea of, based on the outlet type. So, for example, if it's fine dining, grab and go, and so forth, what is the average range of prices that we recommend? We're still working on this document, as I said, and we hope to share it with you shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We have a question from Peru. We are planning to have live show cooking during restaurant service. We will need an additional permits to do that. Zina, you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you, Peru, for your question. So, given that you already have a permit to operate your restaurant within your pavilion, if you wish to host live cooking shows, no, you will not require any additional permits for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We have a question. If the alcohol in a pavilion is to serve for free, is there any charges for that? Adnan?
Thank you, Omar. Thank you again. So for non-commercial activities, no, there are no charges for that. However, when you declare this in your commercial plan, just make sure that you state the value of those items as 0, so that we don't include them as part of your commercial activities. And when you do your purchase or importation, they will be associated as such, and no fees will be applicable on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. We had a question from France asking when Expo 2020 will be releasing its food offering and the names of the outlets on site. This is something that we are working on with our partners. That amazingly none of them dropped out, so we're working with them, and hopefully we will be announcing it soon. But also, if you have any suggestion for any, really what we call them internally, hidden gems, we're open, because I think food diplomacy or food culture is something that it's a gateway sometimes to a country. So please, if you have anything, let us know, because we always are looking for hidden gems. We have another question. Can you please provide a description of the process for importing food products currently not available in the UAE from the home country for use in VIP and non-commercial events? Adnan, do you want to take this?
Thanks. Sure. I will try to take a stab on it and then refer the relevant documents. So basically, if you're importing food in general, you need to follow the regulations of food importation. Your service provider or logistics provider will be able to provide you with detailed requirements. However, all food items that are imported to the UAE and that are not existing in the market, they will require specific permits from the Dubai Municipality and other entities based on the nature of that product. Some sampling for testing will be required by the authorities as well to ensure that this product is within the regulations that we allow within health safety in Dubai and the UAE. After such, the items will be cleared once they arrived and they will be delivered by your service provider to your warehousing facility or to your pavilion directly. Regulations around importation are put in detail in our customs guide and also in our food and beverage guide for ease of reference. If you have any specific detailed questions and support that you need, we're happy to address it in detail with you. So please provide us your questions, the challenges, the products that you're referring to, and we'll be happy to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. This question came from Wayne from Canada. We're still waiting for more questions to come. I would like also to take this opportunity while more questions coming in that we need to, with you, to work closely with you on making sure that we really finish all these important milestones, especially if you are getting a third parties on board. It's very important to understand how you would like to manage your food and beverage outlet in the pavilion. So we can work, like the question came in about the third party coming in, issuing their visa, going and having the training online, assigning the PIC. Yes, we are 14 months away, but technically, you know, we have no time because there are many elements that we would like to focus along with you on the way. So we're still waiting to see if any other question is going to be coming. There's something coming, but waiting. No, I can only think about food now. We have a question. Will Expo give us all the catering companies that they're going to be accredited on site if we would like to have? Are we going to have a rate card service for people working on site, catering companies? Zina, you want to answer that?
So yes, with regards to catering companies, we actually have rate cards that are available on the Expo portal. If there are any additional caterers that will be available, they will also be posted on the Expo portal as well.
Thank you, Zina. We have a question from Bashar from Jordan. Kindly, I want to ask about the deadline for booking kiosks. Zina, you want to answer that?
Sure. Thank you, Jordan, for your question. As we were explaining earlier, the kiosks are mainly available to our thematic district participants. Unfortunately, they're not available to our self-built participants. All our kiosks, 60 kiosks, have been allocated at this point in time. So yes, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, we have a question from Peru. Is food sampling permitted at any time in the restaurant area? Zina?
Yes, thank you, Peru, for your question. Yes, food sampling can be conducted as required by you. However, we do ask that you inform us of the sampling just where needed so we can help control if there's any crowd of people or anything required from our side. Also for us to provide any additional guidance on the way that the sampling will be conducted, so the portions of the food, for example, and how it should be presented to visitors. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Brazil, from Rafael. We intend to use our F&B operator to provide catering service and sampling to our partners inside the pavilion. Will we need to submit their sampling intentions before the event? How much time in advance? Zina?
Thank you, Brazil, for your question. So from the question, I am assuming that you have an outlet or are planning to operate an outlet to a third party, and you're going to be having this outlet also serve your VIP pavilion. So in this case, you can identify it through the same commercial proposal. So you'd identify your food and beverage operator in the commercial as a commercial food and beverage offering, and then the service that's going to be conducted in the VIP lounge can be identified as a non-commercial offering. So you can provide all details in the commercial proposal. If this happens at a later stage as well, you can submit, again, a reminder, you can submit more than one commercial proposal, and you can continue to submit commercial proposals throughout the event as well, where things do change in terms of your operations. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, we have a question. Are the participant allowed to leverage food and beverage offering from the neighboring pavilion? Zina?
Absolutely. This is at the discretion of the participant. We've seen this happen in a lot of past expos, especially for participants that don't have any food and beverage operations planned. We encourage you to do this, and it's a good way to provide a variety of food and beverage offerings to your guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. There is another question. We have 2 outlets within our pavilion. Will we get the 2 retail in a box system free of charge? Zina?
Once again, yes. So each participant will be allocated 2 free point of sale unit hardware kits, absolutely free of charge. Beyond the 2, that's when you participants will be paying the rate card for the hardware. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. Please, once again, submit your any question else you might have. Apparently, there's some coming through the WhatsApp. Okay, if there's a question, if participants have a rooftop area, are they allowed to use electrical barbecue and serve alcohol? Adnan, you want to answer that?
Sure, thank you, Omar. Technically, you have to demarc this area and make it available within your final design submission for food and beverage as part of your design submission, your overall design submission package that comes to us. Those details will be reviewed by our internal team and by our colleagues in the Dubai Municipality. If we have any comments, we'll provide you with it. But technically, if it meets the requirements of the food and beverage serving and food and beverage design that are set in the guidelines and in the Dubai Municipality codes, we will certainly accept and approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan, for this. There is one came in now. Are there any restriction in food ingredients, some meats or other? Zina, you want to answer that? But before you answer, if you also can elaborate on the question, if we understood correctly, do we say any restriction? We have any restriction for any ingredients to be used within the expo? Some meats are accepted versus others. Zina?
Sure. Thank you, Ahmed, for the question. So all ingredients stemming from meat and poultry must be halal, obviously with the exception of pork. With regards to ingredients, so this will depend on the specific items. We would first look or work with you to understand if these items are allowed to be brought into the UAE. So without having further details, it's quite hard to tell you a yes or a no. What I do recommend is, again, submitting a commercial proposal as early as possible or providing more details on the ingredients you plan to use within your menu. Even if it's an indicative menu, please pass this on to your country manager and we can have a look at the ingredients in detail. We do have some ingredients, for example, such as poppy seeds that are not allowed for use within the UAE. So once again, without details on what you have planned, it's kind of hard to be able to give you a full response. However, I do remind you that all meat and poultry must be halal with the exception of pork. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. We have a couple of more minutes. As you know, we have a session coming up on sustainability panel. So we'll allow it one more time. But I think it's very, I know now maybe we'll have one of the way forward session, a dive deep as well in the food and beverage that will allow people to process the information and because your questions sometimes give us ideas and suggestions, and that's very good for us. I'll give it one more minute. So no question came. So I really want to take this opportunity to all of you for participating for this amazing engagement during the session. This is something that's always been the case whenever we are connected, whether virtually or in person, and we always look forward to have this kind of dialogue. As all the sessions we said, everything have to come to an end. Meanwhile, if you still have any question in your mind and you would like to answer it, please do send it to us, and we'll make sure that once, in a couple of days, we'll be issuing the report, a list of FAQ. All the sessions will be also uploaded on the participant portal. Maybe if some of you have seen, there is a tab on top of the link that you see. It's been streamed in Zoom. Also, for a quick reference, you can go on Expo 2020, YouTube account, and you can see the session. We will now bring the session to a close, and we look forward to seeing you all in person in Dubai, hopefully very soon. Thank you. Stay safe and don't eat much. Thank you.